Hey guys, Silver Paul Reads here, doing a little bit more of those 3 words. This is the last chapter. Of course, this actually isn't the last chapter. It's the last chapter that's been uploaded, but it doesn't actually finish the story. So I apologize that it's an unfinished story, but I thought by now it would be finished, but it isn't. I also apologize for the delay. I've been playing my PS3, been playing my Wii U, ended up hacking the Wii U, and I've been trying to play Wii games, but it turns out my hard drive takes a little bit too much power, so I'm going to have to get a new cord, order from Amazon and everything. So that's why I haven't been making any videos, because I've been trying to figure that out without blowing off my fucking head. Sorry for the swearing, let's continue. Of course it was Shadow. Nobody else would have known about Sonic's favorite hiding place in the forest. For a second, Sonic was impressed that Shadow had been able to recall its location from years ago, but he didn't have the time to praise Shadow's memory. There was a gun rammed at his forehead, a real gun, cocked and ready to blow him to pieces at any second. Sonic could do nothing but stare helplessly at the gleaming silver blur between his eyes. Shadow's form only just recognizable behind it. His heart hammered. He knew Shadow would pull the trigger if he wanted. Tails, too, could do nothing but watch. His eyes were agonized and sweat beaded on his own forehead as he fixed his eyes on the barrel of the gun. He desperately wanted to make some kind of move, to wrench the gun from Shadow's grip, to grab it and turn it to his own head, saving Sonic's life. But he was terrified that sudden movement would make Shadow shoot by accident. Or on purpose. Nobody spoke. Shadow's weapon said as much as was needed. Sonic's current position required no words, and Tails was utterly speechless. Sonic had so many things he wanted to say, but he didn't care. Shadow had complete control over the situation. If he didn't want Sonic to speak, he could silence him in seconds. However, it was Shadow who finally prompted conversation. Not going to say anything in your defense? Shadow's voice sounded odd. It was weak and jagged, as if he hadn't slept for a while. Tails would go as far as to say the hedgehog was slightly deranged. He was certainly acting like it. I could kill you in half a second, he hissed unnecessarily, and you're not gonna say anything? Sonic swallowed, unsure if Shadow was simply trying to get him to talk so he'd have an excuse to kill him. Although, he was probably going to shoot eventually, so what difference would it make to die now? He had nothing more to lose. Besides Tails, Sonic dared a quick glance at Tails the Fox to make sure he was relatively okay before facing Shadow. Where did you get that gun? Sonic asked, his voice croaking. Shadow tightened his grip on the handle, twisting the gun at an angle. Everyone over the age of 14 who lives in our area has been given a weapon, Shadow explained. Sonic's eyes widened and Tails let out a quiet, "What?" in disbelief. They were offering a selection. Guns, knives, torches. Some people had their own weapons, though. Everyone had something. Thousands of people have been looking for you all through the night. We don't have to go to school. In fact, they offered me months of time off school because I witnessed it. Maureen, too, is saying she was Tails' girlfriend. Tails winced at that comment, feeling more guilty forever, dragging Maureen into the situation, even if she hadn't technically been his girlfriend. Do people really want us dead that badly? Sonic whispered, more of a thought than a question. Shadow grinned, though Tails thought it looked a little strained. Of course they do. You deserve to be, you disgusting, pathetic. Think you can be so special and not follow the rules of life just because you're the amazing Sonic the Hedgehog? Shadow's anger caused him to push the gun harder into Sonic's head, gripping it so tightly that Sonic could feel it vibrate as Shadow's hand trembled. Guys aren't supposed to go with other guys, you idiot. You're meant to be with the girls. You can have a child, he went on, as if Sonic had forgotten this simple biological fact. But no, you're Sonic and Tails, the two brothers who get to oppose basic natural processes, just because you're both total freaks of nature and want to get some kind of sick revenge. You shut up! Tails yelled, leaping to his feet and standing right in front of Shadow, practically nose to nose with him. The fox was considerably shorter, however, and had to bend his neck right back in order to make eye contact. The dark hedgehog stepped back a little, perhaps from fear of Tails' sudden ferociousness, or fear of catching his homosexuality. Tails, don't, Sonic muttered, not wanting Shadow to turn the gun into his companion's head. Tails ignored him, keeping his eyes fixed on Shadow's. I'm sick of letting myself be insulted by you. You've called me a freak the day we met, and for what? Because I have an extra tail, a deformity that I can't help being born with? You think if I had a chance I'd choose to have an extra tail? You think I'd choose to be ridiculed by closed-minded idiots like you or be stared at in the streets? By this time, Shadow looked a little stunned. His arm was holding up the gun and slacked a little, aching with the effort of holding it upright for so long. Tails paused for a moment, breathing hard with frustration. His eyes flicked back to lock on his Shadows once more as he came to a conclusion of speech. Of course, I wouldn't want to have this stupid deformity, but I got stuck with it, and there's nothing I can do. Just like me and Sonic are stuck with being gay. We didn't choose to be. Why the hell would we do that? Why would we willingly give up normal life and instead choose to live in secrecy in fear of everyone? No one would ever choose to be gay. That's absolutely, it'd be crazy to do that, but we didn't choose it. It's something we can't help. Shadow straightened his stiff arm, determined to keep his weapon against Sonic's head. He maintained eye contact with Tails, taking the details of his rant. Then why you... Shadow demanded desperately. Why is it that you and Sonic are like this? Why is it me who has an extra tail and Sonic the unusually blue fur? Tails replied quietly. It's just random. There was a short silence. Of course, what Tails was saying made sense, but Shadow didn't want it to. Besides, maybe Tails was just making it up anyway. Maybe he did choose to be that way, and he was only saying otherwise to save his life. Shadow smirked. I don't believe you, and neither will the rest of the world. Right now, there's a huge search going on, the largest in history. No one like you has ever managed to hide away for this long. Everyone will find you eventually. You're right, Sonic said quietly, his head hung low, his quills sweeping over his face and concealing it. We'll die eventually. What's the point in dragging it out? We may as well give up now. Turn ourselves in, accept what's coming. He raised his head slowly, his eyes dark. So shoot me, he muttered to Shadow with a voice drained of emotion. Shadow looked shocked. This was an unexpected outcome. He had presumed that Sonic and Tails would be begging for mercy and offering anything in return for not dying. Now Sonic was asking to be shot? Surely Tails would have some kind of protest. The Dark Hedgehog looked at the fox, who was watching with a blank face. Shoot me, Sonic repeated quietly. He echoed the phrase over and over, getting gradually louder. Come on, Shadow, shoot me! It's what you came here to do, isn't it? So hurry up and do it! Shoot me! He jumped upright, faced his rival. The two were the exact same height, same build, like reflection of each other. Shadow forced himself to keep the gun pressed to Sonic's head. The stupid faker was right. He did come here to shoot them both. Well, maybe not Tails. Tails hadn't done anything to annoy him, although he was gay. Wasn't that the reason he was here, to kill them? No, it was just because it was Sonic, that annoying, cocky faker whom he hated since childhood. It wasn't because he was gay. It wasn't because he was gay. Sonic was still insistent, repeating, shoot me, over and over again, adding mocks and taunts. He could see the Shadow was cracking. He knew it. Shadow didn't really want to kill them. It was a small start to their hope of escape. Shadow's hand trembled, his jaw clenching at Sonic's incessant gambling. Shoot me. I can't! Shadow yelled. His arm fell heavily to his side, and his eye contact fell to the floor. Sonic and Tails looked at each other. I hate you, Sonic. I hate you for ruining my life by being better than me. Everyone sees us as two sides to one person. You're the better side. The one everyone loves. No one likes me. Sonic's evil twin. We're not related, Sonic said bitterly. Shadow glared at him. We look similar, and we may as well be. I hate you, and I really just want to kill you. And not because you're gay. I don't care about that. I'm not going to kill you here and kid everyone that I did it because you were gay. The three were silent. Shadow's words were pondered between them. Shadow stood still, wondering what Sonic's reaction would be. If you didn't care that we were gay, then why act so disgusted when you found us? Why tell everyone what you saw and get us chased out of town? I was disgusted at first. Still am. It's weird, two guys together when it's not meant to be that way, but I don't get why everyone is this worked up about it. It doesn't mean you should be punished for it, not in this way, and I thought that maybe the whole idea that you should be killed might have just faded away. I didn't know people felt so strongly about it still. Shadow raised his gun a little, inspecting it before tossing it to the side. It landed in the bush with a switch. I never meant for this to happen, he said quietly, speaking to himself rather than the two of you. Then fix it, Sonic demanded coldly. You expect us to forgive you for telling everyone just because you never meant for this to happen? Who knows you're here? Tails asked. Shadow looked at him. No one, I swear. I wanted to find you by myself and get all the credit. He winced at how pathetically competitive it sounded. Sonic scowled. Then go and tell everyone you found us somewhere in the forest, the Blue Hedgehog said. Tell them you shot at us but missed and we ran away. Lead them somewhere away from here. Tell them I stole your gun so they should be careful because we might be dangerous. Tell them I punched you in the face before you could shoot accurately and that's when I stole your gun. Show them your black eye to prove it. Shadow frowned, but I don't have a black... He was cut off by a fist of rock smashing right into the right side of his face, knocking him backwards into one of the bushes surrounding the area. Dazed, he opened his eyes, expecting to see Sonic looming above him. Surprisingly, it was Tails who looked down at him, rubbing the knuckle on his left hand. The fox was inexperienced when it came to punching. Sonic stepped behind his partner and offered Shadow a hand. Sonic held Sonic's wrist awkwardly, and the Blue Hedgehog yanked him to his feet, almost sending him stumbling over on to his front. Now get out of here, Sonic hissed. Go and tell everyone I told you to say. Got it? He gave the Dark Hedgehog a fierce shove out of the clearing, making sure to keep him away from the bush where he threw his gun. Shadow turned to look at the two one more time. He opened his mouth, paused, and then turned and walked out of sight slowly. He knew his apology would mean nothing.